Hi, this is Damian from skatingcast.com. Forgive me for how I'm look. I'm fresh out of class with my student. After this class, I found that I will record something for you too, because both on skatingcast.com and this channel on YouTube will be dedicated to the inline skating and ice skating courses. Because I'm a hockey coach, I'm a roller skating instructor and ice skating instructor. I also own one of the largest skating schools in Poland, and so taking it all together, I'm just gonna share my experience. I'll translate it into English for you on this channel. Like I say, it's like the first move I'm gonna tell you about for the totally super beginners. How are they supposed to start skating? Because very often on my classes I have people who said that they'll just buy skates and put them and start skating. But after the first 3 or 4 accidents, they said they would look for help and they would come to me. So to meet these expectations and needs, I simply create these kinds of courses, free on the internet, so that everyone can start skating on their own. So if you are interested in learning how to inline skate for super beginner to really advanced level, so step by step there will just be courses beginner, medium, advanced and even pro, and the same in the winter. So in Poland we have both summer and winter. I don't know where are you watching this, so maybe you don't have a winter. But in the winter I'm just gonna publish additional materials for ice skating lessons. There's a bit of difference in those techniques, not all of them, because it's very similar sport, but there are some little difference, and here on this channel too you will find step-by-step informations on how to enter to the ice rink and not sticking to the railings to start skating really well, and everyone's admiration on the ice rink or wherever you just skate. Alright, also if you are interested in these topics, please click subscribe, like it, and leave a comment on what you want to know, what topic you are interested in, and then I will record another material about it. Okay, how to start inline skating. First of all, if you already have any inline skates and you don't even know how to stand at them too well, it's start by walking on some grass. You're just gonna start by wearing roller skates on the grass, first of all. Also, if you are beginner and this is some kind of physical activity, right? Remember to warm up. It's very good to warm up every part of the body. So we start with the head, then there are the shoulder swings, the hips, get your knees moving, and we moving from up to down, and we want to warm up every part of our body, including our hands, because they will also be needed in case of a fall. We're about to say the fall because that is the biggest opponent at first. People who just want to learn inline skating are usually just afraid to fall, and here is where I tell you how to react to it. So before we start anything at all to do, first class, like really starting out in roller skating, there is a large dose of the information and theory, and then it's just we are very systematic in our work and we start skating. I make 3 golden rules. The first of those golden rules is that we always have bent knees. It's not a natural position, because when we walk normally on shoes, then we don't pay attention to those knees. Actually, they are most of the time straightened out. So here, this is a not natural position for us. On rollerblades, we mark 2 types of knee deflection. First, it's like I'm just standing here now. Even though I'm standing there now, I've got a slightly bent knee, like a half bent knee and fully bent knees. And now, what do they stand for? Well, that half bent knee is like the tip of my knee goes into the middle of the skate. But fully bent knee is when the tip of my knee covers my toes in my skate. And even if you do that and just try to stand still, to have your knees at that position and kneel harder, you will feel your weight in a skate. It changes from heel here more to toes. And that's what we want at first, because at heels we don't want to skate. Of course you can skate on your heels, and that is normal, but it's good on an average level or advanced. At first we absolutely don't want to, so that our weight rests on the last 2 wheels on heels, because then it can be very easy for us here to that. At first, those are quite frequent and very unwanted situations. We want to avoid that. So this is the first golden rule. The second golden rule most people have, but some people skate this way. Avoid this here. They can't get a leg in any of the points to connect, including the legs as they are here separated from the beginning to the very ground. This is how they should be all the time. Each one separately, they can't connect us in. No possible options combined. Most people already have it like stuck, but some people try to skate this way and think it's easier, or just bend your knees in. Even though I'm not touching my leg. It's the wrong position. It's a terrible position and they suffer our knees. Okay, the third rule, in my opinion, is most importantly, a slight forward lean. How can you best tell that to the kids? The tip of the nose must be on the tip of the toes. That's it. If you have a child who wants to learn how to rollerblade, you say you have to lean forward and the tip of your nose must cover your tip of your toes. Because what happens, like the tip of the nose will cover my toes, at this point my body weight will impossibility to see, it's resting mostly on my heels. What can the heel do now? He can leave me, and that can just be a pretty dangerous fall, painful. And that's what I want to talk about. If you are the person who just starts inline skating, in fact, you're probably just afraid to fall. So if you are afraid to fall and you are a beginner, you've got a higher risk of falling. I don't have any protectors. As you can see, helmet everyone should have. I hope you know that already. Without a helmet, don't go on roller skates or in ice skates, because here really even the professionals fall down, and the helmet's head is important after all. But if you are a beginner, I strongly recommend that you dress yourself yet other protectors. That is for hands, elbows and knees. Possibly a lot of people don't know about it, but there are also special protectors for skaters on the backside. That's here, it enclosed and protects the tailbone on the backside. So, if you are a beginner, I really recommend you dress up in all those protectors, but very important, very important. I think even the most important thing is to learn how to fall, and on the very start you have to practice first, learning how to fall. I'm already telling you what's going on. It's a super basic thing. In the minutes ago I've done it with my student with exactly the same things. So most people like the default have a setup that whatever bad things happen, it does so. Maybe you've noticed people who are straightening out like that. They wave their arms and their legs go out and try to get their balance. It's like a default setting. But what are we supposed to do? Learn how to fall correctly. First of all, wherever bad things happen, each of you has something like that. That the second before he falls, he feels that it's not good, I'm about to fall. That's how I feel. There's really a second to react, and then people tend to react in such a way that they straighten themselves out, even more trying here to pull this off as if it were a danger to your advantage. But we should the opposite to what the body tells us. So you need to do a squat as low as possible to the ground and give your hands forward, not upstairs, just sit down. Look at you. These are two completely different techniques, but just doing your sit-ups will perhaps already protect you from falling, just because you will be closer to the ground. And it is known from the physics that the closer you get to the ground, the easier it is to balance. Remember how you used to build towers? The higher tower, the more vulnerable it is. To the lower it is, the more stable it is. We want to be closer to the ground, first of all. And secondly, I prefer to fall from this height to the ground than from this one, because my center of gravity is twice as low, and this is a significant difference. That is the second thing. Third thing, I have my hands in the front. It's my weight already went very nicely forward, so I don't fall back, and this falls back. Everyone here always reflexively supporting themselves with these hands, and unfortunately very often here the hands are broken at the wrist, or we can damage your shoulder, we can damage your elbow. But to the front? So when we have your protectors, then what can happen here? First we'll put our hands up, then our knees, because our knees are still a more complicated joint than the wrists, so I'm always more protective of my knees. But what? I have my hands here, I'm down. So even as I fall, nothing big is gonna happen. I also remind you that we are beginners, so here these speeds shouldn't be 30 kilometers per hour yet. Just as we go, whatever wrong, I'm losing balance. That's the reactions. Straight ahead, hands down, and try to get as low as possible. A very simple thing. I always explain to the children that I prefer to turn from this position than from this. And the kids can see very nicely then, hey, I actually prefer it that way too because it hurts less. Then it's very easy to learn the right attitude. So if you are actually a beginner, it's great that you're watching this material because it will allow you to get the right reflexes and attitudes, because it's much harder with some bad habits. Now that we know how to react to falls, when we know what their 3 golden rules are like, so in fact the 3 golden rules see what the skater's position looks like. Knee bend, slightly forward lean, back straight, but not that way and not that way straight. I just mean I'm here to see. Here I can do like this, a little forward straight back, so there's no hump on your back, like ski jumpers. In Poland that's a quite popular sport. So be careful. The knees, arm and tip of the toes form one line. This is such a basic safety position to learn how to rollerblade at all. If you know that, what now? For starters, we're just trying to get out of the grass on the asphalt. We'll learn it on the grass first. So what? Stamping. As if this exercise is very simple, the more so on the grass. If you can get on the grass, you can get on the concrete. Even if you are at home, you can catch an object, a piece of furniture, and you're trying to stamp, right? Then you try bigger steps and smaller, more intense. This is really an exercise for our balance and holding our position. Because if you're gonna throw like that, it's wrong. You must have this position locked, and you do that around the circle as you can. This is how super beginners start in. So don't worry about it all. I know that it looks weird and it's not that hard, so I want to do it. I have many students who have watched my first films in Poland and then they said that we're looking for some for adults, and then they went roller skating a little bit and said, we want that beginner things, it's too complicated. So really, if you're starting, try it. At least you're gonna go through this material and find out that you're good and that you're capable of rollerblading, and you'll just grow very fast. Alright, next thing you know, it's a roll of V-steps. Now most of us, like I said, are used to walk in that way on shoes. That is, we make a heel to toe move. It's look like this. We put our legs really parallel to each other, so the rollerblade step can't be that. Why? Because at this point I'm not going anywhere. I roll a V steps. For younger viewers, this is a duck, or Donald Duck if you were watching a fairy tale. For older viewers, Charlie Chaplin, yes? Fingers wide and heels close. But let's remember that they shouldn't touch each other for now, and see half a roll. What does half a roll mean? I mean, I don't take such big steps at first, because it's pretty hard. Only my heel is half of my first skate, and now again, my heel is in half of front skate and that way. This is an exercise for now without skating, like the rolls are going to go. Remember, we have to lean forward, because a very common case is that when the inline skates actually start to skate away, it's a man doing that straight back and evasion, even worse here too. Like you're just gonna take a rolling V step, like I say. For now we don't want to skate, but the rollers can skate, because it's just the V step it's called, like we're doing a letter V. Well, I'm always pictorially saying Donald Duck or Charlie Chaplin, so we're trying to come up this way for now. If that doesn't bother you, you're able to go that way without such a check. You're able to go, let's say, 50 meters that way. It means you're perfectly mastered it. well, maybe not perfect, but very well, and you can walk a step higher, like balance and those basic principles, roll position and steps. You're doing very well here. I know it doesn't look nice at first, but believe me, it's better to start with something like this rather than go into deep water and then have problems in or just get some kind of injury. If you can do it, that's great, because the next step I'm gonna call it a penguin, because it's look like a penguin. The coolest thing about this penguin is so that it gives you the opportunity to skate without lifting your legs too much. What is it? The hardest thing to do on inline skates in the beginning is to skate on one leg, and yet since we're taking a step, now I'm on one leg because I'm taking a step, and it's for beginners. The biggest problem so far is that it's been a fraction of a second, but I'm on one leg, and that's a nuisance. By the way, I'd said that generally. The essence and secret of perfection on inline skates is really good skate on one leg, because if I can skate well on one leg, on two legs it's just more easy for me. So here's the secret, but at the beginning we want to minimize the stay on one leg. We want to be on two as often as possible, because like I said, it's a movie for super beginners. So penguin looks like this, almost the same as duck, just now only that the legs are a little wider than my hips. And what happens now? My rollers already want to go, but now I keep them from going to you. But that's the way they want to go at this point. And for all that, I've got my wheels, they're on the inner part of the edge. So because our wheels have three edges, there are inner parts of the edges because they are inside me, they're leaning in. This is center of wheel, and the outer part of the wheels because see, the rollers I have on the outside extended. So for now we want to avoid the outer edge. We will only use the inner and center part because the outer part of the wheels are the toughest part of the edge in roller skating. It's just we will practice at intermediate and advanced levels. So what? Penguin, the inside of the wheels. Look, here all the time the knee is bent, leaning forward straight back, this way, and you will see. Your toes slightly further apart as it was in ducky, and now I'm just little lift my legs up. Look how it looks in front of you. Look at here, really. They're already going like this, and my stay on one leg is basically minimal. There's no less to go, yes? My legs are skating to the side and I put them back. That's one thing. I'm not really raising my leg like that, but very close to the ground. This leg wants to be very close to the ground. It's one thing, and another thing is, notice every normal different step in roller skating is like conquering the ground forwards, so I have to take a forward movement, and it makes my stay on that one leg longer because watch this, notice everyone just goes like this, but in penguins I don't take a step forward, I have them parallel. That's the advantage of straightening out and keeping an eye on yourself at all, to give myself a forward hand position, because if I have my hands forward, I'm transferring most of the weight more forward, and we already know we want to, in case, to react properly and fall forward, because falling forward it's okay. If a student falls down and falls forward on his hands, I congratulate him. Some people on the side who don't know what's going on, they think, God, what a trainer, congratulates someone because he fell. If you learn how to fall well, you will find that these falls aren't so bad. So you're gonna unlock yourself here in your head and you're gonna start skating better, just like that. Because the most common reason to stay on your same skills by the years is one, we do it incompetently. We don't ask, we don't look specialists to show you how to learn. And two, that we're just always afraid that we hurt ourselves because we're falling several times to the back, and there's a lot of people who started out without help. Fellas badly broke up, they either got caught up in something and the rollers went to the attic or they've been sold. And then rollers aren't for me. Unfortunately, this is the aftermath of this, that I haven't learned to fall before, so it's very important to learn how to fall correctly. Hands forward and penguin and see that I can skate. If anyone is ashamed that kind of beginning, you can go to place where there's nobody, like I do. Just go rollerblading in the morning, and in fact, because a very common problem is that we're afraid to fall because it's so unpleasant falling, someone is looking at us, if someone looks at you, for example, he usually can't skate on, and there are no rollers on his feet at the moment, and if he has the rollers and he louds, it's just a ball. And you are interested in a boat opinion? Is it of any interest to you at this point that somebody not polite enough to laugh of you because you're learning? And remember, every pros and every person that skate very well, they never laugh from that kind of people. They won't laugh because that's how they started. They know that was the beginning. They will come and give you a hint. Really, see, inline skaters are great people all over the world. Really, not only in Poland, and most skaters will help you. All the more good ones, because the weaker ones, or those who just stand by, so to speak, just don't have rollers because they can't skate, but they looked at it, don't worry about it. That's another psychological aspect too. So as I said at the beginning, unfortunately, these first classes are so much talked about, but here, like this, we really have to take a lot of theoretical information to get off the hoof later, because the next materials will really be much more intense and skating. Alright, the mass of initial information already, you should be able to skate like this here. Really minimize the stay on one leg, so just how my legs get their living. This penguin, I'm coming back. They're coming back, right? It's also cool that kids can. We're doing a penguin like that, you can give a hand here and actually then we'll look a little bit like those penguins. This way the hands are slightly forward and it will be okay. The child can also better visualize that whole thing and he skates a penguin so he can catch faster steps. Alright. That's it in this material. Like I said at the beginning, at this YouTube channel will be translated from Polish into English with my lecture plus including the subtitling. If you need it, there will be English subtitles in every film. And I'm just gonna show you the step by step from super beginner to super advanced person to start skating on roller skates and ice skates, because if winter season will start in Poland, I also show you how to break sideways on ice skates as you start skating, as in to handle you at all, how you're sharpening them, etc. So if I help you with this material, please subscribe, click a like, phone up and leave a comment what you'd like to see in the next videos. And I remind you that on skatingcourse.com there is a professional course, such a more detailed arrangement is already made more materials that you won't find here on YouTube. You can also learn from this YouTube channel to rollerblade as much as possible, but maybe it's take just a little more time, because you will find the link under this record to an online course on my site, which is much more accurately taught. So if you just want to speed up your rollerblading lessons or give someone a nice gift, I recommend you to click the link in the description of this video and in the commentary. You will find their material not published at all on YouTube. That is really are often such game changers. Okay, I greet you all with my fingers crossed for your progress. See you in the next material.